What's up, babes? It's cralisa Victoria back with yet another video. If you guys are new here, hi, welcome to my channel. If you've already been subscribed, well, sis, bro, thank you so much for coming back. In this video, I just wanted to talk about my locks, and y'all know that I typically will show you guys different angles of my hair. Spam is on a high alert on making phone calls today. Them spam calls is coming through, baby. But this is where my hair is right now. And then I'm gonna turn it all the way around so you guys can see where the back is. Hopefully y'all were able to see. Okay, so that's literally where my hair is right now. And I'm not gonna hold you. It is growing so freaking much. But anyway, this video I wanted to talk about loctician versus DIY do-it-yourself when it comes to your locks. What I recommend, what I do. As I always state, y'all, I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm just telling you a lot of the things that I do and things I like to talk about, topics that could get you thinking, because you might have a change of mindset. So let's talk about our hair, okay? Loctician versus not. I thought that one of the benefits to be able to go back to locks was low maintenance, right? When I think low maintenance, I'm not thinking only in terms of style. I'm talking about in terms of budget as well. So I feel as though when you get sew-ins and you get braids and you get all of those types of things, a lot of times it can be very costly. Now, I do believe that when you go get retwists and stuff like that with locks, that it is still going to be cheaper than braids or sew-ins. I couldn't get it out. However, it's still a cost. If you're not a girl who knows how to do your hair or a guy who knows how to do your hair, this is not to shade you or to knock you. But if you are somebody who knows how to do your hair, or you can watch tutorials or figure it out yourself, it might be worth you DIYing your own locks. And when I say DIY, I'm saying I can literally take one lock, right? My hair is fuzzy. I put my product on there, take the lock like this. If you want to interlock, we talked about in one video where you can put like a needle here and keep sending it through the root and just tightening up your root. Or if you want to palm roll, you can do it like this. Put the product on there, palm roll, or just twist with your fingers if you're not as good as palm rolling. Put a clip on there, or you can braid it, or you can do a bantu knot to hold it. It is so simple, and I know some people don't feel like they can do their hair, so I'm not trying to sit here and make you feel like it's simple. If you can't figure it out, then what's wrong with you? I'm just saying sometimes the DIY method is a little bit better. I mean, you might not be the best at retwisting your hair the first time around. I mean, hey, in order for something to become perfected, you have to keep working at it, right? So you might not be the best in the beginning. However, it may save you some coins if you can just go ahead and start doing your own hair. Now, if you are a person who I'd rather throw my coins to the loctician because 1, I don't know a thing about hair. 2, I'm lazy. 3, it ain't gonna turn out. It ain't gonna turn out. I'm going to a loctician, and that's what it is. If that is you, that is fine. Not everybody's gonna be able to do their hair themselves. But I would definitely say, think in terms of how often do you want to see that loctician. I see a lot of locticians telling people to get their hair retwisted every 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I don't agree with that necessarily, because I do feel like if you become accustomed to getting your hair retwisted every 2 weeks, you're also going to get accustomed to thinning. I do believe that if you continue to keep retwisting your hair every 2 weeks, eventually your roots are going to become thin. In my opinion, it doesn't matter how thick your hair is, because I feel like you are overdoing it. It's almost like if you wash your hair, if you overly wash your hair, you think that you're getting benefits, but sometimes it can backfire because you overly washed it. Same thing with your face. If you're using face wash and you're washing your face 5 times out the day instead of your typical 2 or 3, your face could become really dry. Why? Because it is overwashed. It is overreacted to whatever products that you're using. So I think that's the same thing with hair. Like, don't overdo it. You know, less is better. And if you do every 2 weeks, like I said, I'm not here to tell somebody that your routine is off and offset. I'm just telling you what's my opinion and the things that I do not do. So I would say when it comes down to, do I go to a loctician or do I do my own hair? You guys know the answer is I do my own hair. Low manipulation, do not do every style underneath the sun. Am I really good at figuring out how to accomplish certain styles? Yeah. Do I do every style? No. Do I retwist my hair every 2 weeks? No. Do I have to have, like, I can literally semi-freeform my hair for months at a time and be cool. Like, there's been times where I semi-freeformed my hair for 3 or 4 months at a time. Didn't retwist it for 3 to 4 months. And I would just put edge control. I would moisturize my roots to get them thick, make sure that they're thickening and they're healthy. And then when I washed my hair, I would go through and just make sure I can physically pull my locks apart just to make sure that they're healthy. So in my opinion, I honestly believe that that's probably the best, method for me. So determine what's the best method for you. I think if you have the ability to know how to do your own hair and you're just being lazy because you know what you're doing, then you might want to rethink your laziness and do your own hair. Even if you want to just do your perimeter or the front of your hair so it looks like everything is done and the middles are really not retwisted, you can do that. You don't have to always. I know in my first set of locks, sometimes when I didn't feel like retwisting my whole head in a day, I would retwist this half and down, and then that next day I would retwist the top when I didn't have enough time or I didn't feel like doing it all in one day. So there's many things around it. You can put edge control, you can slick it back. You don't always have to retwist your hair, and that is the beauty of it all. Now, if you go to a loctician and you say, look, my loctician sees me once every 3 months, I do the maintenance in between. Okay, when you think about in terms of budget for your hair, of course you're able to save a little bit more than the person who goes every 2 weeks. But if it's pure laziness, sis, get out of your laziness. Do your hair. At least make sure you're moisturizing it and doing the regular wash routines, and you'll benefit. You'll benefit. And like I said, if you're a person who don't like to retwist your hair all the time, then go ahead and just edge control or whatever. I think this week, probably not today, but I might do a braid out. I think I'm going to braid my hair, and then by the end of the week, I'm going to take out the rubber bands and just wear my hair wavy, or I'm going to wear it in bantu knots, which you guys know when I do bantu knots, I braid it and I actually wrap it around in a knot and it comes out curly. I'm not exactly sure which one I'm going to do, but I think I'm going to do that on my next wash. But yeah, long story short, loctician versus DIY, I'd say DIY all day. But if you need to go to a loctician when you get locks, know that you are still going to save more money than you would if you were changing your hair every 2 weeks and having to buy bundles, which can be expensive. You could be dropping $200-$300 on bundles, $150-$200 on the actual sewing process. And by the time you looked at it, you spent $300 to $500 on your whole hair process just to take it out in a month and have to redo you might have to repay for the installation, and you can keep the hair if it's quality, but you're still just forking out money. When you go get your hair braided, you're probably gonna spend over $200. That's not even including the hair. So you gotta make it make sense for whatever you choose. But if you are a lock babe, that is the benefit, that you can razzle dazzle it a little bit. You'll still save money whether you do your own hair or you go to a loctician. But think on those things: loctician versus DIY. Locticians, I think that this is not to speak down on locticians, but I think there's a lot of people who call themselves locticians and really don't be knowing about locks. Or you're a loctician but you've never had locks before, or you're a loctician and you don't currently have locks. It's a lot of variations. It's hard for me to hear somebody tell me about my locks if they never had locks before. You know what I mean? That's like speaking on something that you've never experienced, and that's not possible to be able to really have a perspective on something. That's like somebody saying, so how is it like to have a 5-year-old? And I'm like, well, it could be stressful at times, and I don't have a 5-year-old. How can I speak on having a 5-year-old if I don't have a 5-year-old? That's how I feel about locks. How can you speak on what I should do with my locks if you've never either had locks or you don't have them? And if people are locticians who don't have locks currently, but had them for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, okay, you still know what you're talking about. But if you ain't never had locks and you're trying to tell me that you're a loctician and you're finna do that, baby, I'm looking left, right, up, down, up, back, forth, everywhere to try to figure out where you getting your knowledge outside of like people's testimonies in a book. Make it make sense. And I know sometimes you can gain experience from just having different customers and just knowing how to do the hair, but I think it's still hard to speak on the ups and downs that happens in the lock journey if you haven't been locked before. So that's just my personal opinion. Don't come for me, don't come for me. But I had to get on here and talk about loctician versus DIY, and which I do, which is DIY, and which I recommend, which is DIY. Not to knock the locticians out the game, because I said if you don't know what you're doing, or you just want somebody who knows what they're doing and who's going to have your hair looking right, or maybe you don't have the time to do your hair, yeah, go hit the loctician up, sis. Go hit them up. Hit somebody up, okay? Hit somebody up. And I'll see y'all in the next video. I hope you enjoy it. Like, comment, share, subscribe.